Yes.
Is there a better way to zoom? Other than the mouse button? Mine just slowed down maybe.
If you're having that problem, what you may need to do is click on something in your scene that you want to look at and hit the number pad delete, which will recenter all of your camera controls around whatever you want to look at. And that'll reset all your zooms, reset all your scales to around that particular object. Does that help? Yeah. Okay. That is one of the biggest issues that you run into, is that you can only zoom and rotate so far around things, and then it just kind of goes haywire. And that works the same way with every 3D software. I don't know why it does that. But that's what it does. So if you see something in your scene, if I want to look at this painting on the wall, I can click on this, left click select, and I can click the number pad delete key, so the period down there, same key, and it will zoom right to there, and then I can rotate or pan based around this object now. Oh, the 5 key over there. And while you're in any of these views, you can use 1, 3, and 7 to change your views of this world. 1 is front, and it tells you right up here. 3 will switch to the side, and you'll see all this happen in real time. It will just flip it, kind of. So the number pad over there is going to control all your view stuff. Ortho, hit 5, and then choose 1, 3, or 7. That will give you the 2D projection view. Next thing we'll talk about here is this bar right here, which is the viewport properties. So it's just to the right of your viewport. And it's this guy right here. This is going to have all my properties for my viewport. It may also have items in here, properties related to if you have anything selected, it will give you properties as well. So let me jump back in here. So if I click on my couch or some other kind of object, it gives me its location in 3D space, any rotation, any scale. It also gives me dimension right over here on the side, which is nice. That wasn't there before. And you can see these little tweedle arrows here. I guess that's what they're called. That you can collapse these and expand certain aspects of the properties here. So you see that if I go down to the display here, I have some viewport properties. I can add or subtract a grid floor. So that's this guy down here on the ground. I can set the spacing and subdivisions. So if I wanted to do feet with a subdivision of 12 inches, I could do something like that. Actually, in Blender 2.5, they actually have a real unit system now, which is great. You can select inches or feet or whatever. Before it was all generic units. And this is one of the other things that's very good about 2.5 is that we have this guy right here, which is toggle quad view. It's hard to work in one image of your 3D world. When we see this, we have 3 dimensions. You can see I can see 3 sides of this. We have width, height, and depth. It's hard to measure all the dimensions here. But if I toggle the quad view, what it does is gives me a top, front, right side view of this. And also keeps my camera perspective. And here's one of the disadvantages of a 17-inch monitor, if you notice. Among many. So, what you can do is, if you roll your cursor over any of these panels, you'll get a double arrow. You can actually collapse these guys. You get a little bit more real estate there in your viewport. And then there'll be a little plus sign right up there in the corner, and that will bring it back out. You can also hit the N key. That's the same thing. So whatever, if you're a shortcut kind of person or like everything visual, either way is fine. The other thing that's really nice is you can lock this guy, this quad view. Whoops, there we go. So that all of your ortho views will move together and keep the dimensions lined up.
So now I don't know.
So that this edge of the couch will always line up with this edge of the couch. That comes in handy if you're trying to do top front right side of something you're going to construct, like a vehicle or something like that, or something that has definitely defined sides, and you want to make sure all the dimensions line up. You'll be able to see those all right there, and they'll all move together. And even if you zoom these, you see if I zoom one, it changes the dimensions of all these, because remember, orthographics is all about dimensions. We don't care about perspective. We just want to make sure that if this couch is 6 feet long, that it's 6 feet long. For, I guess, aesthetic reasons, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my quad view, get back to something that looks a little more pleasant there. Over here, we are going to be using these, so I'm just kind of giving you a rundown of where things are before we start using them. Over here is the tool shelf, which is going to have all your basic functions for whatever mode you're in. If you're moving things around, there's duplicate, delete commands. Over here, there's move, rotate, transform controls, which we'll talk about here in a second. So nothing terribly fancy over here. This is all your basic commands that you'll be using. And the last thing is the properties window. This is where basically all the meat and potatoes lies, if we want to use that analogy. Here's where all of your rendering controls, object controls, modifiers, materials, everything that we will be talking about is going to be controlled over here in this panel. And if you cannot see everything, all of these panels in Blender are actually movable. So if you go in between, like I can't see all these panels over here, I can go and get the double arrow, left click, and I can drag this over a little bit. You'll want to see probably all of these guys up here. Last one's a little bouncy ball. If you can see that, then you're in good shape. If you can't, I'd probably drag those out so you can see that. So this is the new basic interface. Now you don't need all this stuff on all the time. Like I said, you can collapse any of these panels in the main viewport. You get a lot more real estate. More advanced users probably will just get rid of that stuff and use like the 6 keyboard shortcuts that are really easy to remember. But like I said, if you do like visual feedback there, you want to click buttons, that stuff is available for you. That's basic interface stuff. We will be referring back to this